Oh, howdy guys, how's it going? So we are trying out a new camera right now on the hike in here. It has it's been raining, it's pretty dang windy at the moment, and I'm trying out an Akaso Brave 7. I just got it. I might have to play around with the settings. The biggest test that I'm curious about is how the audio is going to be, because this action camera is supposed to have decent quality audio for it to be one that is fully waterproof without having to have a case. But I also have, just checking the trees above me, I also have an external mic, not with me, I didn't bring it, that I can plug in because I wanted to just take and strictly film everything that I do with this camera during this video, default audio, and see how it handles wind and precipitation. Still going to be using the other standard camera of mine. I would love to take, and because I brought a very large 6 AM ultralight tarp with me, and I'd love to string up between these two trees because that area is relatively flat. But that's one dead pine tree, 2 dead pine trees, 3 dead pine trees right here in fallen range. I think we are going to have to go with this spot because there is one dead pine tree right there, but the root system is growing that way, the top is leaning that way. The odds of it falling right here is slim to none. And that one looks like it still has a really strong body to it. But yeah, this right here is the new action camera. So I'm hoping that it ends up performing very well so that whenever we go out in torrential downpours, we can get some good shots along with whenever we're kayaking and doing things like that. So rocking with the Tasmanian, that's probably completely out of frame, and with the really large Tasmanian Tiger load carrier frame and pack set up with its giant rain cover, which I could take and probably crawl inside if I needed to. It's worked very well. Right now it's mist and rain. The only thing is the waist belt, like where it rides on your body feels amazing. But with the holster that I currently have, the only way for me to comfortably carry it is to not have my gun in my holster. But this Pentagon rain jacket has ginormous chest pockets, so it makes life a lot easier. Oh wait, I got my tarps and stuff. This big pocket. So we're rocking, this right here is the 6 AM, the largest one I got. I can't remember the model name. I'll put it on the screen, and obviously there'll be a link. This will be the first time actually straining this thing up, but we've used the smaller one that I got, which is still quite large, during that tornado warning, and just let's see, what was the other one, during, like, I think my belt kit loadout. But we got that. I was originally planning on doing a plow point configuration, and I brought this, I think, 50-foot hank of paracord with this Night Eyes, you know, cam style buckle, and just, you know, having that as my one main point. And then, and we might still do that, I just got to figure out the layout of this area. So I have opened this up before, got it out, you know, just backyard test, making sure everything like the sewing and stuff was on par. I just need to see kind of how it fits this area. So essentially, my goal with this, which you guys know, I know plenty of knots, tie knots all the time, but for experiment's sake, I wanted to see if I could get friction alone to hold at the tree. With me, and that right there looks like it's going to hold very well. So just tension wrapped on the tree, coming down to the corner. All we got to do is pull this lower end and we can get her up. Now I might end up getting a stick and holding it up this way because this thing is very large, but we'll just have to stake it out and see what it looks like. It's absolutely massive, so we might just end up bringing it here. I wish it was like a limb or something. Got the Silver Ant titanium stakes. God dang, I forgot this thing was this big. Anyways. I know I probably had to go off frame for that. The other thing is where y'all are at. We can just fold that under. Now I'm going to take some jute twine. And for those of you who have been wondering, the flipper I've been using the past couple of videos, this is it. It's going to be very hard to get that to focus. And I ain't going to try to pronounce that, but there you go. I took and got a couple of these pocket knives. This one's been great so far. On the outside, just a regular plow point shelter. We got that guy line pulled out. I done one down there at the bottom kind of center. If you had trees overhead, you could even reach and do this one and pull the head up even more. And then we got that one over there. So here in a second for scale under there, but I mean this thing is very low. I mean I think it's in like an 11 by 11, 12 by 12. And so there will be a link to it. It's just amazing like how light it is, how large it ends up being. So I took, and like it's been raining So for my ground cloth, I brought the USMC tarp that I got off of One Thief Surplus. Most of the stuff. I just gotta keep track of where things are. There's plenty of room in here where, you know, we can work around any debris. Forgot I had this thing button. Having a really heavy duty thick tarp like this as your ground sheet. Like I said, this backpack right here is as big as me. As big as my torso at least. And it alone can fit right there. No problem. And so I just, like, as this material stretches during this first use, we'll take and tighten everything up. And it's still, you know, very early, but I'm gonna go ahead, get my bed system set up. Rocking with the Highlander Hawk Bivy once again. This time it's like, since I brought this bag, and I mean, you know, I'm carrying a quarter of the capacity of what this bag is capable of, but I took and brought this Gear Doctor sleeping pad. It's got foam inside, and you know, it's self-inflating, but it's still kind of, you know, thin but good cushion. And I want to stick it inside this Bivy bag and see how it compares to that Gear Doctor pad that I used in one of the last overnighters we did. That is much, you know, thicker. That's like a winter mat that's just air, and just, you know, see how that goes. And we got a pillow. And then the woobies in there, and we'll deal with that later. One of these days, I'm going to lose the other face mask, and that's going to come in handy, I think, this winter, but most of the time I'm just going to leave the mesh head net on anyways. So I mean, you can see, like, we still got a good 3 foot from where the foot of this thing ends and where we're at, and there's probably another person's length from right here where I'm at to the tip of the tarp with the overhang. So now, one thing I really like about this mat compared to some of the other ones that I have, including the other Gear Doctor, is the valve is up at the head, because like a lot of times they want to put them at the feet for whatever reason, but I like having them up near the head, because if you do end up sticking them in your sleeping bag or sticking them in a bivy bag, it can be hard to add air to them. If, you know, they lose a little bit of air, they decompress a bit, or whatever the case may be. Now, I do wish they offered this in a not so bright color. But I think this one will fit the form factor of this particular bivy bag a lot better. And I've had used this one for quite a bit, walked on it, used it straight on the ground, and I'm actually kind of surprised it's held up this long. So I've had this over a year, and normally when it comes to air pads, you use them a lot and you get a year or two out of them, then that's very good. It's got to give the foam time to expand on its own, and then after that you can firm it up a bit with some more breaths. It just speeds things up if at the very beginning you give it a couple, like I said, to help speed things up, because I like to keep these things rolled up nice and tight. We'll probably be able to top that off a bit later. It's still not cold to the point where the ground matters that much, like it always matters, but the temperature dictates the extent to which it does. So got that, and then we'll get this thing zipped up some of these tiny ants. I may or may not use the pillow, like we're on a bit of a incline as usual, so you know the pillow sometimes it can help set this up, but then sometimes it just adds too much height. Play that in there. Very nice. You gotta be careful with like loose gear bags, because the ones that are light and don't have nothing in them do run the risk, even though they're under here, to get ouch caught up and going away. That's nice. Oh, there's a rock right there at my head. But yeah, right now it's misting pretty good. There's not supposed to be any more heavy rain that's in the forecast. I think most of that come through and got finished like early this morning. So I am a little disappointed in that, because I wanted this tarp to get put under the load of the wind and a heavier rain. But it's definitely getting the wind. Like, I don't know how to judge it, but we're getting some pretty fast wind gust. There's no doubt, because I've not got to spray these pants with permethrin yet, and these little, I don't know what type of ants these are. The nice thing is though, where my Bivy's treated in permethrin, they don't seem to want anything to do with it. I kind of wish that I had treated this USMC tarp with permethrin whenever I was doing the, like, treating all my clothes, but I don't think I had it yet. Oh, that's probably why there's a little ant's nest. It was covered with leaves when I was setting up and I didn't see it. But it does seem like they mostly got drowned out. To make sure all of our gear is good and cinched up, anything they could crawl into. But yeah, I'm surprised that, like, as many as there are, they don't even seem to really be paying attention to the USMC tarp now that I've set my Bivy on it. And I'm thinking where they're really tiny ants, just being within proximity of that heavily treated Bivy has kind of made them turn tail and run. So I probably just threw up that clip of a couple mushrooms. I personally don't know anything about mushrooms. It's something I would like to learn about, like just foraging in general. I know like a couple of like medicinal plants and stuff that grows wild, but if any of you guys know what those two mushrooms are, let me know. I definitely don't think they're edible mushrooms, so don't, like, I ain't asking for that reason. The forest floor is just covered with mushrooms since we got this last rain. It's kind of like they just sprout up overnight, but the wind seems like it's picked up I mean, at least the gusts are more frequent right now. But this thing's doing good. I went around and tightened the guy lines. It wouldn't hurt. Oh yeah, that feels really nice. Oh, I do believe it is time to make some food. My stomach is growling, and today I've brought some homemade vegetable soup. Still pretty breezy, not quite as windy as it was, but where I got this alcohol stove, there is plenty of height from kind of right from where this tarp is to the ceiling of this thing, and I'm pretty sure these tarps are, this is the same materials they make their hot tents out of, so shouldn't really be any risk of that. And I know that this USMC tarp is flame retardant, so. We just gotta warm this up. It won't take long. We'll have to keep our hands on it. Don't need much. And then I'm gonna drip some along the side so you'll see a little combustion on the ground. That's where I drip some Zippo fluid on the side of this thing whenever I filled it up. There we go. Now she's, oh, that has got hot. Slowly but surely she'll get the breath of life going through it. Sorry, my camera cut off there for a second, but anyways, we got ourselves our pan full of vegetable soup, homemade vegetable soup. I just had started heating it up, and this thing will heat quick. It's already starting to steam a bit, but I'm gonna let it catch a couple bubbles. Where this pan's squared, actually balances on that thing really well. That right there should be plenty good heated. And there you have it. I can't really tilt that over anymore, but I hear like one giant helicopter nearby. I don't know. You can't beat homemade soup. Especially this time of year as it starts to get cooler and like on a windy day like today. Well, alrighty guys, I do believe it is about time to hit the hay. This UCO lantern that I'm using, it actually lights this area up very, very well, hanging right here. It's on high right now. And right there is just a spider. Just a dangling. I don't know what he's attached to, but anyways, it lights the area very well. I just turned the flash on this. But I'll put a picture up just to kind of show, because I was really surprised. I don't know how long, I can't remember how long the battery life is if you have it on high. But yeah, we're going to take and crawl in the sack. It is still pretty windy, just the occasional heavy wind gust, and then just kind of a consistent breeze. I'm not sure if that'll die off in the middle of the night or not. But so yeah, it does. It feels really nice tonight. With the breeze, I just put this on because, as you've seen, I have on one of these Wind Rider sun shirts, and so with it being probably about 57, I think the low tonight's 52. With it being about 57 and in the high winds, it gets a bit cool. I'll go ahead and keep some water by where our side is. And I had extra water in my bag. I just took and refilled my canteen. Ouch. There's a rock right there. I'll put those right there. The pad feels like it's like, you know, still solid, so I don't think we need to put any air in it before we maneuver our way inside. And then try to do the Bivy as quick as possible, just to try to keep it. Was already the only thing that doesn't seem to be affected by the permethrin at all is Granddaddy Longlegs. They'll just take and run all over this thing. And I know for a fact, I stuck my flannel in here at the head of this thing, that I'm going to go ahead and get inside this zip up woobie, because otherwise you will get a chill at some point. And I have found that the easiest way to zip this thing up quickly from the inside is to roll over onto your side a little bit if you can. Very nice. Well guys, I will take and try to knot off and talk to y'all in the morning. Ugh. Oh. Good morning, guys. Well, that was a very comfortable night's sleep. This sleeping pad is kind of the way to go. I just wish it wasn't so big and bulky, but I can take and put it on the outside of my pack, I guess. I did discover that putting it inside this Bivy bag in particular is not the way to go, because it makes your sides too rigid. And I kind of slid a little bit like that way during the night, and it twists inside the Bivy, and it's really hard to get it to go back the other way. So I think I'm just going to have to stick, because I really do like this Highlander Bivy, but I'm going to have to stick with sleeping on top of the pad. We'll figure out a sliding method. I think I'm going to put grip tape or something on the pad itself. But it's windy again this morning. Didn't get any other precipitation, but like we wasn't supposed to. Very comfortable. Ended up like using the Woobie. Didn't have to mess around with putting on the flannel or anything, just using it kind of as neck support. All in all, this tarp now is its first use, high winds, no issues whatsoever. Well, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the channel with your friends and family. That is what helps the most, because it's all about the growth of the channel and viewership. And then if you are interested in any of the gear, you can feel free to ask me about it in the comment section, but I try to link to everything I possibly can down in the description box, which is right below the video. So yeah, I'm just going to get up and get everything packed and situated, and I will see you guys in the next one. So adios.